Welcome to the free audiobook version of The Everyday Pain Guide, your go-to guide when pain first strikes. Hi, I'm Dr. Ya-Ling Liu, and the podcast is taking a little detour to make my new book available in an audio-friendly version for everyone out there. Each episode will feature a bite-sized snippet from the book, and together we'll work our way through as much of it as is possible in this format. What's exciting about this is that I'm reading parts of the book to you before it's even available on the shelves. Plus, unlike with a traditional audiobook, you can engage with the content and chat with me about what you hear. You get to ask questions and tell me what you think as each episode rolls out. So sit back and relax as I bring you today's installment of the second book in the Everyday Pain Guide series, Fix the Fire Damage. We're working our way through the 5 stress biology or emotional garbage influencers, and we've covered coping methods as the first, your 5 senses as the second, and today we're hitting the third type of stress influencer, sugar. I know what you're thinking. Damn it, there it is again. Yes, I'm sorry. Sugar really is that much of a troublemaker. The information, techniques, and suggestions discussed here are not intended as a substitute for your own medical care. Please always consult a healthcare provider before implementing any advice referenced here. Stress biology influencers continued. Just a reminder that there are numerous avenues by which you can influence your stress biology. In this book, we're looking at just 5 of them. Each influencer can act as either a type of stress biology trigger or be used to alleviate stress. Keep that in mind while we go through today's third type of influencer. Blood glucose. If you recall from section 2, the level of glucose in your blood plays a big role in inflammation and pain. Higher circulating levels of this sugar molecule can result in higher overall body inflammation and, therefore, pain. For this reason, sugar is one of the universal big 3 sources of burdensome garbage intake. But it can also double as an emotional garbage influencer because of its impact on your stress biology. High dietary sugar intake is known to spike anxiety, and as researchers are learning, anxiety may be related to inflammation, which makes it an understandable consequence of inflammatory sugar intake. As it turns out, stress chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol can also influence blood glucose. These chemicals are meant to help maintain blood sugar levels as a survival mechanism during emergencies like hemorrhage or sepsis. This phenomenon is called stress hyperglycemia, and it ensures that your nervous system and brain continue to get vital glucose fuel during serious medical situations. As with much of our survival-based biology, sometimes the brain and nervous system can cause a protective reaction that isn't completely relevant to the situation at hand. So it makes sense that in the case of chronic stress, some people's biology might express a low-grade version of stress hyperglycemia in response to the constantly circulating adrenaline and cortisol. In this way, even in the absence of an emergency, the persistent presence of stress hormones can still contribute to a higher than ideal blood sugar. Research points to a known correlation between stress chemicals and type 2 diabetes. Some pre-diabetic people are now being given the option to wear a glucose monitor by prescription. Since these monitors are able to reveal spikes in blood glucose in real time, they can help someone better identify which foods are particularly problematic for their unique glucose metabolism. If you're someone who has tried a glucose monitor, you might have noticed that they can also register blood sugar spikes in the absence of food or drink, but during acutely stressful events. This is a perfect demonstration of the very real way stress impacts biology. If adrenaline and cortisol can increase blood glucose, then they are contributing to inflammation. And here we have yet another vicious cycle of inflammation biology. Stress can cause inflammation from increased blood sugar. Inflammation triggered by increased blood sugar can also cause stress. And here in the book, you'll see a diagram, a circular diagram, illustrating that vicious cycle effect between stress and anxiety from the adrenaline and cortisol, feeding increase in blood glucose, feeding inflammation, feeding back to stress and anxiety. That completes the 4th of 6 episodes dedicated to the Stress Biology Repair Guide chapter from Volume 2 of the Everyday Pain Guide series, Fix the Fire Damage. Are you someone who reaches for sugar and carbs when you're stressed? You're not alone, but could you, like many others, maybe just be stuck in this vicious, self-perpetuating cycle of sugar, stress, inflammation? Please share your thoughts and experiences over on my Substack, Better Pain Coping. I look forward to chatting with you over there. In the next episode, we'll talk about how posture can be a response to and might also perpetuate fear and stress. See you then. This episode was an excerpt from The Everyday Pain Guide, your go-to guide when pain first strikes. Written and narrated by me, Dr. Ya-Ling Liu, with audio editing and production provided by Organized Sound Productions. Do you have questions or comments about today's episode? You can shoot me an email anytime at hello@stopeverydaypain.com. That's HELLO@stopeverydaypain.com. If you have friends or family members who you know are struggling with persistent, recurring aches and pains, tell them to check out the podcast while they're waiting for the book. To help me get this information to as many people who need it as possible, please consider leaving an honest review, but I'd also be super grateful for a simple like, follow, or share. Thank you for helping me put a stop to everyday pain.